wonder how many people are gonna try to roast me about the way I'm about to say Knipex. I'm very, very curious. If you think it's gonna be more than 35, go ahead and leave a comment down in the comment section, and tell me how you think it's pronounced, because the actual official page for the United States for Kinipex posted a video with a t-shirt that said Knipex, spelled it out. It was great. But that's not what we're here for today. What's up, everybody? My name is Spencer, and this is American Electrician. On today's video, we're going to be going over my favorite strippers, as well as talking about some different styles of strippers that can be useful in different situations. If you're new to the channel, welcome. On American Electrician, we do gear reviews, electrical how-tos, and some tool reviews. So if that's something you're interested in, go ahead and smash that subscribe button so you can stay up to date on all of our content. But for now, let's get started. First up are my main strippers, and I've been wanting to do a review on these for a while. Finally, I've really gotten to use them. I feel comfortable with them, but they are these Knipex forged wire strippers. So I will go over the pros and cons of these wire strippers here, but I really do like them. I want to say first of all that I am continuing to use them, and they're definitely my favorite pair, especially for full range wire strippers. One thing I like about them, there are these little grooves here that when you open them up, I thought it was kind of gimmicky, but they really do help you find the wire size, and it helps to make a nice clean strip. The cutters on these are phenomenal. They are really like they're a cut above any other cutters on any wire strippers I've used so far, which is kind of Kinipex's thing. They'll cut anything you need, MC, a ton of stranded or a ton of solid, and honestly some larger gauge wire as well. So they're great for that. Some of the things that I don't like about these strippers that I hope they come out with a revised version of these. For one, they don't have the insulated handles. It's not required here in America to have them, but the handles are super comfortable on those insulated sets. These are comfortable too compared to a normal pair, but I really do enjoy using the insulated handles. Another issue that I have with these pliers right here is that the jaw is so wide. It's less of a needle nose and more of a lineman style, which is really annoying because I don't really twist my wires that much, but I do try to use my strippers as needle nose, try to get into the tight places, try to set wires with these, being that they're usually my most used plier. And so that is one thing I wish would also change. And then the third thing would be the cutter. It does cut great, but one issue that I have with it is that it doesn't open up very wide very fast. These jaws come over a lot, and so I'm already this far over. By the time I've got it open enough to get 12 gauge wire in there, that part is annoying, but they do cut well. And then finally, this only goes down to 12 stranded, and 10 stranded is a very common size for commercial lighting, and so that is one thing, or honestly commercial anything with a certain amount of distance. So that is one thing that I really do wish would change, but there is plenty of time, and this is their first pair of full strippers in this style, so I'm sure there will be more to come. Next, in this style of stripper, these are the Klein versions of this. These were out first, to be fair, but I actually used these for a long time. They do have the needle nose. They're like a multi-purpose style, but the cutting jaw is not a shear. It's like a lineman or a diagonal style, and I found that when I would cut stranded wires with this, they would get caught in the bottom of it or in the middle sometimes even and not cut very well, which is super frustrating because you're cutting all the time with your strippers. And also I found that it didn't really strip that well, which is, you know, its whole purpose. So wasn't a huge fan of these, but if you like Klein, these are a sturdy pair. and they work, I guess, if you get used to them, but I personally was not a fan. And last but not least in this category, or least, it depends, are just your traditional strippers. These are, you know, just dipped handles. These are Kleins. They have like a little cutter on them. They do go down to 8 gauge solid, so 10 stranded. But these are just your basic average strippers. Next, we're going to get into some of the special use strippers. These do have their place and their purpose, and some of these I actually use quite often, and I will mention that when I'm talking about them. But first up are these installation pliers from Kinipex. I honestly thought that these were a joke, and I really did not like them because they only stripped 12 and 14 gauge wire. But I found out the more that I use them that those are really the only two that I use on my strippers anyway. And these do have a thinner profile, which is nice. You don't have to open the jaws as wide. They cut great, they cut MC great, and they do have the insulated handle. I found them super useful for Romex or MC because it's usually 12 solid, or for Romex 14 solid, and so the cutters on these will cut MC like it's nothing. And same thing for the Romex. Just makes life easier, less tools, more work. But I would say that these are actually pretty legit. And the other cool feature on these is that at the tips here there are no teeth, so you can actually grab the wire if you're trying to land it on a breaker or something, and like kind of push it in, pull it in, grab it without damaging the insulation, which is huge. And it's just a nice little feature. Next on our special use strippers, these are diagonal cutters with strippers on them. These are also from Knipex, and one thing about these are not the high leverage, so they're harder to cut, but they definitely have a thinner nose, which is nice because I use these a lot for MC cable. It also just strips 12 and 14 gauge wire, which is what you use for either Romex or for MC. And so like I said, thinner head, so you can get in there and snip the MC, which is great. So you can strip the sheathing off the outside of the MC. You've also got your strippers for the actual wire insulation, which is great. And then the same thing for Romex, that you can get in there, chop off that sheathing in the back, towards the back, and then come out and strip the wires. The other thing, these are great for if you're inside a tight box. You don't have a lot of head that goes past where you actually strip, so it takes up a lot less room in a box. If you're worried about cutting other wires, or if you're worried about something being in the way, these are a great small option that help you get through that. All right, next on the list are these Klein tools Catapults. These are definitely a special use plier because this is the only cutter that's there. So it's already got to be cut. You can only shorten, but basically what this does is it's got these little teeth in here that pinch down and pull, and it's got one side with teeth and it's got one side with a jaw that just pinches down, so the only thing you're pulling on is wire. These are actually used a lot for solar panels and solar panel connectors. They're usually in the kits. I don't know why, but they are. One thing I found these super useful for is in lighting, when the wire's been super hot for a long time and you're retrofitting. These help get the jackets off of really stuck wires, so that basically if your wiring is been super hot, that jacket gets melted on there, it doesn't want to come off with regular strippers. These really take it off fairly easily, but they are hard to carry. The head's huge, handles are kind of awkward, but it helps when it helps. And then last but not least are these Felo automatic wire strippers. I believe these are actually made by Jacari. They have the same exact set of pliers in a different color, but these are phenomenal. They can help you get back into deep boxes because, you know, older electricians sometimes like to cut the wires about that short, so they were barely sticking out of the box. Thank you guys for all that. If you are one of those guys, I really hate you. But basically it pinches it, pulls it back, and these are all plastic, so they're actually insulated, and then they've got a little cutter up here. These always stay with me, not in my pouch but in my bag. I do use these frequently. Alright, well that wraps up our list of strippers. If you guys have any questions, if you have any strippers that you use that I did not mention here today, go ahead and leave those in the comments. I'd like to see those. I'm always interested in trying new types of strippers. If you guys appreciated this video, go ahead and leave a like for me. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate the support, and I'll see you guys on the next one.